We got some Indian genetics. We're going to do a tier list. We're going to rank all of his muscle groups. Let's do the physique check. So looking at the back, he's got traps that go relatively far down. So some of this starts to become his erectors, but I would count all of this chunk as his traps because he does have a low insert chest, as you can tell. So looking at the traps overall, definitely lower insert along the body, coming pretty close to halfway down, if not further than halfway down the body. That's a lot of real estate to develop. And then we look at the upper traps. The upper traps have good amount of connection into the acromion, deep into the acromion, a lot of thickness going on in all of this. Then they probably round out a little bit right here as they go up. These are just very good looking traps. A lot of good thickness. I would call those traps A tier. They definitely have the ability to become S tier, especially if he develops even more thickness in this back. Looking at the rest of the back, the infraspinatus is popping decently well, even at a slightly higher body fat percentage. Rear delts, I would want to bring up the rear delts a little bit more. The rear delts, definitely the least amount developed compared to the front delts and the side delts, but he has very long inserts on his shoulders. That's a lot of real estate to put some mass. We'll say the shoulders are B tier. Looking at the tricep, he's got a good amount of tricep hang. You can see it over here as well. If we look at it from the side, we have relatively low inserts on that long head. That lateral head's a little bit more medium, but he's got a great amount of mass going. So all of this, I would say, is the main contributor to having the bigger arms. But then you look at the biceps too, and you're like, all right, he's got definitely a good amount of mass going on there. The triceps are A tier. The biceps are A tier. Why? Because they have a lot of good thickness. They look good in different poses, even from kind of the side front shot. From the back, the arms are not being out angled whatsoever by his long shoulders because his shoulders come pretty far down his body. But even then, he's been able to stack on a lot of mass into his arm. And generally, people with longer insert shoulders do not have as big of arms. But in this case, homie's defying probability. He has the mass. Looking at the forearms are maybe just a little bit shorter. I would just call them medium overall. You can definitely tell from this angle, everything's just a little bit shorter. I'd say the forearm flexors are a little bit longer, but the extensors are just a little bit shorter. From this angle, the forearms are not as beefy, but he does have a really good brachioradialis right here. I would just want him to pull up his forearms just a little bit more. They just don't really hit super hard, but from some angles, they definitely look good. I would say that the forearms are B tier and they definitely have the ability to come up. Looking at the chest, long insert, lots of mass, easy A tier. Looking at the abdominals, we don't really see a lot of thickness. Obliques, we definitely don't see really any thickness at all. I feel like he could cut down and have relatively good abdominal definition, but the obliques, we just really aren't seeing much yet. For that reason, I'm going to say the abdominals are C tier and the obliques, I would honestly give them D tier just because of the way that they compare the arms. The arms are so well developed and he just doesn't really have any obliques. And I think as he continues to gain more mass everywhere, these will fill out. So it's not really a problem, but I would say until we really see a little bit more definition in kind of the oblique and that structure, giving that kind of striated finger kind of look, I would say that that's one of the least developed muscles on his body. Looking at the back, definitely some good erectors. I really like how the lats are looking. From the back double bicep, we do see that V taper going on. And then if he was to cut down, he'd absolutely have an even more significant V taper. I'm saying the lats are B tier just because the arms, to me, the arms outshine the lats just a little bit, but the lats, they're good. It's just compared to the arms. And then the lower back, I would say it's also B tier. It definitely has the thickness, but I look at the arms and it doesn't really have that super saturating look. And maybe that could improve with a little bit more posing. Maybe it could improve with a little bit more of the thickness in the lower lat. That's going to be B tier. And then the only question is, what is the legs doing?